Hello, today we're going to talk a little bit about importing resources. We've talked about resources before. Resources are all of the information snippets that we want to bring into our system once and then reuse them over and over again. These are things like our Rolodex, our equipment, licensing information, all of the sources. This is our concrete mixes, our asphalt mixes, all of the people that we work with, our clients and our employees, all of those kind of things are in here. Um, uh, we can go into these and every type of resource has a custom input of properties for each different type of resource that we have in the system. We could always go in and for each different type of resource, we can start typing in a name, do one by one. We don't want to do that. We want to bring in a bunch of clients all at once. And when somebody's starting on the system, that's generally what they want to do. They can get a list of clients from another Excel spreadsheet, a Word document, accounting system, some other uh, the data source that you have generally can dump data off into some format. And the most common format that people use is what's called the CSV file. It's a comma separated variable is what a CSV file stands for. And this is what a CSV file looks like in Excel. Any Excel spreadsheet can be saved as a CSV file. And any CSV file can be opened in Excel. And generally, you'll have a header row that has the names of the data that you want to put in here. And then you have the other information that you might have that wants to come in to the system. And a lot of times you can use Excel to do some data cleanup if you need to. Our system can actually help with that. So we've got a list of just a few contractors that are clients that we want to bring in here. So um, let's go take a look at how we would do that over here in a little drop-down menu. If you're an administrator on the system, if you have administrative privileges, you'll have the import resource data option in the drop-down here. And so we're going to go in and look in the list. Every type of resource we have in the system is available in this drop-down. You just kind of follow the tree view that's out there. We're just going to go ahead and bring in client contractors. And of course, we're going to bring in a CSV that has headers. We just looked at it. It does have addresses in here. So it's got address 1, 2, city, state, all that address information. Our system keeps track of addresses in its own a separate data table, and addresses can be used for the company that's in its particular location. Maybe you have a lab at the same location. Maybe you got people that you want to have addresses for. You can have in that same the same location. And so those addresses are important and they get handled independently. So now we're just going to go choose a file. We've got it out here. And as soon as we chose that file, the system did a lot of work for us. It brought that all of the data in. It tried to match them into fields that we already had in here by looking at the name in the CSV file, incoming column names, and it tried to match them with a label that we have in our system. And for the most part, it found names for most of the things. Client type it just tells us what type of that these are contractors, and so we don't really worry about that. We're bringing that information isn't important to bring in because that's already part of the system. But it couldn't match this date thing that we have up here. We have kind of a weird date. So we're going to go ahead and match that in with first contact date. Oh, see, we have one error in here. So our system actually does a really good job of error checking. If we got bad data in here, our system's going to go through and look for bad data and tell us where we've got a bad date. Here we got, tells us one error. Lo and behold, there it is, highlighted in red. 1234 is not a valid date. We need to fix that. Of course, we could import this. This would just be left blank because it's not a valid date. But actually, it's easier to fix it over here. So we can go over into the data item and we look down here. And lo and behold, there's our 34. We'll change that back to a 1. And now it's 1214. We'll save this file again. And let's just kind of do our import again. We'll back out of this thing, get back into it, and choose the file. And you'll see our addresses now line up just fine. And here's our date that we want to get linked up properly. First contact date. You'll see no errors this time. And we're good to go. Go look at our first contact dates. And there is the date that we just fixed. Everything looks good. And tells us down here that we're ready to go. We'll go ahead and complete our import. Takes just a second for those to come through and get all the importing done, and tells us that we imported 19 companies. Here they are. We might want to list all of them here, and we're good to go. We'll go over here in our tree view now, and we'll see that our client contractors, instead of just the 2 in here, we've got all 20 or 30 in here, and we are just saved ourselves a whole lot of time and effort, and our system did some good error checking for us, and bringing data in initially into the system goes relatively quickly. Okay, the last thing we want to mention is how to recover if we find out that we've imported some data that isn't correct or isn't complete, and we'd like to have a redo. And that's actually built into the system also. After you've done an import, you find out you want to redo something, just go back into your import again, and you always got this option to undo the last import. And so click the button here, hit OK, and you'll find that everything has been erased. We can go back through the process. You might want to go back to your CSV file, make some changes, add some data if you need to. But that's just a quick way to recover if something doesn't go quite right. Thanks for your attention, and see you again on the next video.